Now, the Browns realize what they have in Deshaun Watson. That's why they're kind of building the offense out around him. This is from Game Day NFL, and they tweet out, these are the most expensive offenses in 2023. And at the top is the Cleveland Browns, $152 million, ahead of the Chiefs at $138 million. And the Lions are next there with 136. You see, the other ones are the Raiders and the Broncos. Ravens checking in the top 5. But, again, the Browns are willing to spend money. And, you know, they've found a way to, I don't want to say circumvent, push back the salary cap so that it doesn't become an issue unless the cap takes a big hit like it did during the pandemic.
Yeah, and people will look at that and go, oh, it's all Deshaun Watson is making that number go up. It's actually not. It's the offensive line that makes that number go up, right? That's what's so expensive about the Browns offense. And I don't think there's a lot of football people who, once they realize that, would think that that's a bad idea to have a very expensive offensive line around your franchise quarterback. So, yeah, you know, that's fine. You're fine spending enough money or a bunch of money on offense when you have a quarterback. Where you don't want to be is where we kind of mentioned is where the Raiders are, where the Lions are, where, you know, you could argue the Broncos are, given if Russell Wilson has a bounce back or not, where you're those three teams, you're that expensive on offense, and there's really not that much hope for you to be much better on offense because you know what your ceiling is because of your quarterback.
Well, yeah, and the offensive line, you got 4 guys that are making over $10 million in Wills, Conklin, Teller, Bitonio. Your running back is making as much as really anybody in the league in Nick Chubb. And I'm not saying anything about what that's worth. And your top wide receiver is making $20 million. So, yeah, you got a lot of high-priced talent, but that's what you do when you think you have the quarterback.
And it's a lot of talent that's signed. That's why it's so expensive, right? It's not just one contract, because individually, you look at most of these contracts, they're not bad deals. Amari Cooper at $20 million. I mean, like, for a wide receiver of his caliber, it's kind of a discount, given that we're seeing wide receivers. What Tyreek Hill get, like $35 million or something like that? Like, the market has exploded on wide receivers. You can look at Nick Chubb at $14 million, and you can say that's a lot, but for somebody who produces as much offense as he does, think about like how much a 1,500-yard wide receiver would cost. Nick Chubb's a 1,500-yard running back. That's not that expensive. And then you look at the offensive line individually, you're not paying that much for each offensive lineman. It's just that you're paying a lot of guys because you have a lot of good players on offense.